A broken woman became a housekeeper, only to reveal her incredible lost love after 5 years. Sarah stared at the faded carpet of the hotel hallway, her heart heavy like a lead weight in her chest. Once, she had been a marketing executive with dreams of changing the world. Now, she found herself scrubbing floors and making beds, her heart shattered after a sudden corporate layoff. Losing her job had felt like being thrown into a freefall, and when her fiancé abandoned her for a life of glamour in the city, the ground beneath her vanished entirely. The loss was an echo in her everyday life, cemented in the empty silence of her now lonely apartment and in every couple she saw walking hand in hand, their laughter slicing into her like a knife. But here, at the hotel, she forced herself to wear a brave smile. Each day, she pushed through the monotony of her new world. Her co-workers, a motley crew of single mothers and displaced souls, became her unlikely family. Laughter mixed with the scent of cleaning products as they shared their own burdens, creating a bond thicker than blood. It was here that Sarah met Tom, a compassionate war veteran with gentle eyes that seemed to see right through her feigned happiness. He had his own scars, unspoken and deep, and together they found solace in each other's presence, echoing their truths in whispered confessions during breaks. As she scrubbed more floors than she ever thought possible, she couldn't help but reflect on the notion of American perseverance. Here in this small Midwestern town, the contrast of economic inequality reminded her of lost dreams. She worried about an uncertain future but clung to the notion that this too was part of her story. And just as she began to feel at home in the rhythm of her new life, everything changed when a glamorous journalist rolled into town, armed with a camera and curiosity. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The journalist recognized her from a viral charity event photo taken 5 years ago, relighting Sarah's story in the public eye. The ensuing attention forced her back into the spotlight she had shunned, unearthing layers of pain she had tried to bury. Even her ex-fiancé, drawn by the old flame rekindled in the news, sought her out, hoping for forgiveness. With emotions swirling like leaves in a storm, Sarah found herself torn between the life she had planned and the new dream she had built alongside Tom and her hotel family. As the community rallied around her, debates echoed through the town: should she embrace the familiar past or cherish the present? Just then, just as she started to carve out a decision that resonated with her heart, her ex-fiancé dropped an unexpected ultimatum that shattered her moment of clarity. Standing at the crossroads of her own life, Sarah felt the weight of two worlds pressing down on her. Would she follow the thread of a broken past or embrace the uncharted landscape of hope that lay ahead? The clock was ticking. She was on the precipice of a decision that could change everything. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows down the hotel hall, Sarah felt as if the world around her had come to a standstill. The ultimatum from her ex-fiancé, Matt, hung heavy in the air, a weight that bore down on her heart. His voice echoed in her mind, reminding her of the life they planned together, a life that had once glimmered with promise but now felt like a cruel illusion. "Come back with me, Sarah. I can give you everything you lost," he had said, his tone laced with urgency. Those words gnawed at her insides. What did everything lost really mean? Could he restore her shattered dreams, her confidence? Or was it just a desperate plea to reignite a flame that had long since flickered out? She took a deep breath and turned away from the door, her hands trembling. Thoughts of Tom flooded her mind, a man who had seen the raw, unfiltered version of herself. Unlike Matt, Tom never promised her the world. Instead, he simply offered understanding and support, grounding her when she spiraled into doubt. The hotel staff had gathered in the small break room, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filling the space with warmth. They were chatting, sharing laughter as they unwound from a long shift. It was an oasis in her tumultuous sea of emotions. Sarah stepped into the room, forcing a smile even as her heart raced. "Hey, you okay?" Tom asked, his brow furrowing with concern. His eyes searched hers as if he could glimpse the storm brewing within her. "Yeah, just tired," she replied too quickly, not quite convincing herself. The chatter around the table softened, and she knew they sensed her unease. They had shared stories of heartbreak and survival, but this was different. She felt exposed. In that moment, she realized just how much these people had come to mean to her. As they chatted about mundane things, the latest town gossip, plans for the upcoming 4th of July celebration, Sarah's heart clenched tighter. She could almost see a path unfolding before her, one that branched toward Matt's promise and another that illuminated the genuine laughter she found with Tom and their makeshift family. "Should I start planning our barbecue?" Tom's voice pulled her back. His easy smile was laced with the openness she had come to cherish. "Yeah," she replied, wanting to hold on to this moment longer. But as the night wore on, the confrontation loomed over her like a gathering storm. She had to confront Matt, to understand what this ultimatum truly meant for her future. Could she really go back, erase these last 5 years of heartache and growth? Later that night, she found herself gazing out her window, the moonlight casting a silver glow onto her face. Her phone buzzed beside her, and she hesitated before picking it up. It was a message from Matt. Just 2 words, "I'm waiting." Tears prickled at the corners of her eyes, and she sighed, feeling utterly torn. She could either step back into a life of expectation or embrace the unpredictable journey of love and healing she discovered with her hotel family. This decision would not come without sacrifice, but what if this was the moment she had been waiting for, the clarity she needed to choose where her heart truly belonged? Just then, a soft knock on her door interrupted her thoughts. It was Tom, standing there with coffee in hand and concern etched in his features. "Mind if I come in?" he asked softly. She nodded, swallowing hard. It was time to talk. The choice was close, her heart wild and racing like the clock that ticked down to her moment of truth. As Tom stepped into the room, Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her. The tension that had gripped her heart loosened ever so slightly. He placed the coffee down on the small table between them and sank onto the edge of her bed, his body language radiating warmth and patience. "Sarah," he began, his voice steady but soft, "I've seen you go through so much. You don't have to pretend with me." The words hung in the air, thick with unspoken feelings. She wanted to tell him everything but felt the knot in her throat tighten. How could she voice the chaos swirling inside? Instead, she took a sip of coffee, its bitterness mingling with the sweetness their friendship had come to represent. "Tom," she stammered, searching for the right words. "I'm just confused." He nodded, his eyes encouraging her to continue. "About Matt?" "Yeah, he's reached out, and it feels so hard to just let it all go." Fresh tears threatened to spill, and she wiped them away hastily. "What if I'm making a mistake? What if I should just go back?" "Back to what?" Tom's tone was gentle but carried an edge of urgency. "Back to a what could be. What if that life isn't what you think it is anymore?" His words struck a chord deep within her. Wasn't that the painful truth? The life with Matt had been constructed on dreams of the past, while everything with Tom felt like the calm after a storm. Here and now, she was seen, appreciated, and valued for who she had become, chipped pieces and all. Sarah took a deep breath, her heart pounding. I feel guilty. It's like I'm betraying something that once mattered," but now she faltered, lost in recollections of nights spent dreaming of a future that felt more distant with each passing day. Tom reached forward, his hand brushing hers, a connection that made her pulse quicken. "You're not betraying anything. It's okay to let go of what no longer serves you. Think about what makes you feel alive." His words hung in the air, a lifeline thrown into turbulent seas. She felt the warmth of truth in his grasp, a truth woven through laughter, shared meals, and long talks that stretched into the night. If only she could hold on to that feeling long enough to make a decision. Do you really believe that? She searched his eyes, looking for reassurance, longing for belief that she had been missing for so long. Absolutely, Tom responded, you deserve a life that lights you up. And if that's here with us, that's where your focus should be. The gentle pressure of his hand filled her with a bittersweet longing. She could sense the door of her heart slightly opening, nudged by desire and possibility. Just then, her phone buzzed again, breaking the spell between them. It was another message from Matt. I'm sorry, Sarah. I need you. Just come back. Her heart raced, the weight of the decision crashing back down upon her. The pull of the past seemed so powerful, yet she could almost taste the breath of something new, something real, blossoming in the presence of Tom. Tom, she began, the words forming on her lips, ready to spill out, but then hesitated. Would she truly choose to confront the shadows of her past or step into the light that Tom offered? The battle within her raged, and she felt torn, more than ever. But beneath the confusion lay something clearer. Could she find the courage to choose what her heart truly wanted? Tomorrow would be the day to face the music, but tonight? Tonight was her moment. With a deep breath, she locked eyes with Tom, sensing that she might just reveal the most important truth of all. But rather than speak, she simply leaned closer. What if this moment held more than she'd ever dared to imagine? Would she find the strength to embrace it? The door to her heart cracked open wider, leaving her breathless with possibility. The world around them faded away as Sarah leaned closer to Tom, the warmth of his body a welcome comfort against the storm of emotions swirling inside her. The soft scent of coffee mingled with the faint floral notes of his cologne. It was an ordinary moment, but it felt monumental. What if she started, hesitating again as her words tangled with fear and hope? The thought of choosing Tom over the past felt like standing at the edge of a cliff, the uncertainty of the leap striking a thrilling but terrifying nerve. Just say it, Tom urged gently, his eyes locked onto hers, steady and unwavering, like a beacon guiding her through the fog. She swallowed hard, tasting the bittersweet mix of resolve and vulnerability. What if I want to stay? What if I want to try this, whatever this is between us? Her voice trembled, the admission itself revealing the depths of her heart's desires. Tom's expression softened, and she could see the flicker of hope ignite within him. Then let us explore it together, he said quietly, a smile spreading across his face. We can take it one step at a time. She felt exhilarated and terrified at the same time. Could she open herself up to love again after everything with Matt? The thought of starting fresh, of allowing herself the joy she once thought was lost, filled her with an ache she had almost forgotten. Just as Sarah was about to dive deeper into the moment, her phone buzzed again, breaking into the fragile space of their shared silence. This time, it was an actual call. It lit up with Matt's name, the one she had been avoiding for months. Her heart lurched in her chest, and panic flashed through her. Take it, Tom said, nodding towards the phone, though the disappointment shadowing his eyes didn't go unnoticed. No, I can't, Sarah protested, still staring at the screen, her breath hitching. Sarah, you have to face this. It's a part of your journey. But trust yourself to make the right choice. His words were simple, but they carried such weight. He was right. Avoiding the call wouldn't change anything, but facing the truth might. With shaking hands, she swiped to answer. The moment the call connected, every bit of confidence she had built dissipated like fog in the morning sun. Sarah. Matt's voice was familiar yet foreign, sending a shiver down her spine. I don't know how to say this, but I need you. Sarah's heart twisted. What do you need? She found herself asking, half hoping it was the closure she craved. I made a mistake leaving, things weren't perfect, but I know now I can't live without you. Can we talk in person? Her pulse quickened, a war raging inside her. She had fought so hard to gain clarity, to find peace in her emotions, and now it felt like Matt's call was ripping it all apart. Sarah. Matt's voice sounded urgent, pulling her back from her thoughts. She stole a glance at Tom, who remained silent, concern painting his features. The moment stretched on, alive with longing and choices yet to be made. Did she step back into the tangled web of her past or embrace a possible future with Tom? "Matt, I need to think," she said, gripping the phone tighter, her heart pounding. As she ended the call, Sarah felt hollow, still and lost. She turned to Tom, the question spilling out between them like smoke, thick and suffocating. "What do I do now?" Tom's gaze held her steady, a mix of understanding and anticipation swirling as he shifted closer. "The choice might not be easy, but you have to listen to your heart. What do you truly want, Sarah?" Their eyes locked, the unspoken bond tightening its grip around them, whispering about what could be if she found the courage to let go. She took a long, deep breath, trying to quiet the noise in her head. But as she searched for an answer, her mind raced with possibilities. Could she really break away from Matt for good? The door stood wide open, her heart unfolding like petals eager for the sun. But would she dare to walk through it, or retreat back to the familiarity of heartbreak? One thing was clear, whatever she decided, there was no turning back now. In that vulnerable moment, Sarah had to confront the biggest question of all: would she embrace the chance at love again or remain shackled to her past? The silence stretched between Sarah and Tom, heavy like the storm clouds earlier that day. Each beat of her heart echoed in her ears, competing with the whirlwind of thoughts in her mind. She needed clarity, yet all she could see were shadows of her past and flickers of a hopeful future. "Sarah," Tom said softly, breaking the silence that threatened to smother her. "Whatever you decide, I'm here for you. Just take your time." His words wrapped around her like a warm blanket, pushing away the chill of uncertainty. "I don't want to hurt you, Tom. I've hurt enough people already," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Tom shifted closer, their knees almost touching. "You don't have to make a choice right this second. Just be honest with yourself." His reassurance gnawed at her conscience. She wanted to be brave. She wanted to leap into the possibility of love, but the weight of her past coiled tightly around her heart. "But what if I choose wrong? What if I regret it?" "Then you learn from it. That's all any of us can do," he replied, his eyes earnest. "Just promise me you won't make a choice out of fear." "Fear is all I know right now," Sarah murmured, the confession spilling out before she could catch it. "Fear is just a feeling," Tom said, his voice steady. "And feelings can change, just like situations. You have to find your truth." In that moment, clarity began to slide through the cracks of her doubt. She remembered the love they had shared, moments filled with laughter, warmth, and tenderness. It was the kind of feeling she missed, the kind of bond she thought she'd never experience again. It wasn't just about Tom, it was about reclaiming her right to find joy. "Maybe I can start with a small step," she suggested, tentative hope creeping into her voice. "Maybe I can see Matt, just to talk. I need to know for sure what I'm walking away from." Tom's smile faded slightly, but his eyes remained supportive. "If that's what you feel you need to do, then I won't stand in your way. Just promise me you'll be honest with yourself about what you want." The thought of seeing Matt felt like stepping back into a life where everything felt controlled yet chaotic. She could see his face, the urgency in his voice each time he called her name. She remembered the moments when things went wrong, when love turned into resentment. "I will," Sarah said, her voice gaining strength. "I'll talk to him. But it doesn't mean I'm choosing him." Tom nodded, but apprehension clouded his features. "Just be careful, okay? I believe in you and us. Just don't lose sight of that." With a deep breath, Sarah dared to imagine a world where she could start anew. She could take steps to heal, and if talking to Matt was part of that, then perhaps it wouldn't be a setback but a part of her journey forward. "Let us go grab something to eat," she suggested, trying to steer the conversation away from the weightiness they just shared. "I could use a distraction." Tom's smile returned, a flicker of brightness chasing away the dimness. Sounds like a plan. I know a great little diner nearby. As they stood, the door of uncertainty teetered between her past and her potential future. The path wasn't clear, but she felt a rush of warmth at the thought of someone believing in her. As they walked side by side, Sarah's heart churned with muddled feelings of fear, anticipation, and a budding hope. Later that night, as they settled into a booth filled with the scent of fries and burgers, she couldn't shake the thought of the conversation hanging in the air. She stirred her soda with a straw, glancing at Tom, who was animatedly discussing something funny he'd read. His laughter felt soothing, melting away the edges of her fears. But as the clock ticked away, a nagging thought tugged at her. What would happen when she faced Matt again? She sighed, wondering if the past would swallow her whole or if she could really turn the page. Sarah? Tom's voice cut through her thoughts. You okay? Just thinking, she admitted, her mind still running in circles. About what? The way he asked made her heart flutter. Just choices and maybe what tomorrow holds, she replied, her voice quiet but certain. As the night wore on, a wave of determination washed over her. Tomorrow, she would face Matt. And no matter the outcome, she would own her truth. But would it bring her closer to the love she craved, or send her spiraling back into the shadows? Morning light streamed through the sheer curtains, casting a soft glow over Sarah as she stirred awake. The memories of last night felt like a dream, a mix of laughter, concern, and the solid reminder of choices waiting to be made. Today wouldn't just be another day, it was pivotal. She could feel the weight of it in her chest, almost suffocating. After a quick breakfast, Sarah dressed in a casual outfit, a sharp contrast to the turmoil inside. She applied her makeup, the mirror reflecting not just her face but the fear and determination swirling within her. Tom's words echoed in her mind, just be honest with yourself. That mantra became her shield as she stepped into the world that felt both familiar and foreign. As she drove to Matt's apartment, time seemed to stretch unnaturally. The streets were the same, yet the memories attached to each landmark felt different. Would he be the same? Would she? Pulling up to the building, a swarm of emotions rushed through her. She took a deep breath, letting it out slowly, reminding herself that this conversation would be about closure, about honesty, and about moving forward. She took a moment to gather her thoughts, hands gripping the steering wheel until her knuckles turned white. With one last breath, she stepped out of the car and headed toward the entrance. As she climbed the stairs to Matt's floor, each step felt like a countdown. Should she knock? Should she even be here? But she shook the doubts away and knocked, the echo reverberating in the quiet hallway. Matt answered almost immediately, his expression shifting from surprise to something more guarded. Sarah, it's been a while, he said, stepping aside reluctantly. Thanks for seeing me, she replied, her voice steadier than she felt. The moment she crossed the threshold, nostalgia hit her like a wave. The walls still bore the remnants of their life together, framed pictures hanging at odd angles. It felt like stepping into a time capsule, a life that was once hers but now felt like a distant memory. Do you want something to drink? He offered, his attempt at hospitality evident but awkward. No, I'm okay. I just wanted to talk, she said, her heart racing. About us. His demeanor shifted, a flicker of vulnerability in his eyes. I didn't think we'd ever talk about this again. I know. But I need to understand what went wrong. It's been weighing on me, Sarah confessed. I think we both hurt each other, he responded quietly. I didn't know how to be what you needed. I was too caught up in my own mess. The honesty in his voice surprised her. I felt trapped in a relationship that was more about convenience than love. I wanted to be with you, but it hurt to exist in that circumstance. Matt looked down, tracing an invisible line on the table. I didn't realize how much I needed to support you. I was selfish, lost in my own pain. The acknowledgement settled a heavy cloud swirling in her mind. I loved you, Matt. And I still care about you. But I can't keep holding on to the past. His gaze met hers, searching. Are you here to resolve things? To find closure? Sarah's heart raced. Yes and no. I want to understand, to make peace with what we had, but also to move forward. Matt nodded slowly, a weight lifting ever so slightly. Maybe we both need to let go. But it doesn't mean we forget. Just, learn from it. The conversation felt cathartic, but deep down, she still questioned if stepping back into his world meant she could truly move on. Could they find forgiveness in their shared memories? Or would this only complicate things further? As they dove deeper into their past, the emotions rose like high tide. Laughter mingled with tears as they shared their favorite memories, the good times almost overshadowing the bad. But as they finally fell silent, Sarah's heart hung heavily in her chest. Where does this leave us? She finally asked, her voice uncertain but hopeful. Matt's deep breath filled the air between them like a silent promise. And in that moment, Sarah heard the unmistakable sound of her phone buzzing in her pocket, a message from Tom, waiting in the wings. Would she dare to look, or would she choose to stay in this fragile moment with Matt? The silence stretched like the calm before a storm, palpable and thick. Sarah felt her heart race at the intrusive buzz in her pocket, a reminder of the world outside Matt's apartment. Part of her wanted to ignore it, to focus on the man before her, the man who was once everything. But apprehension gnawed at her. Go ahead, Matt said, glancing pointedly at her phone. You should check it. His casual tone didn't hide the edge of concern in his voice. She pulled her phone from her pocket, her thumb hovering over the screen as she read Tom's message, just checking in. Everything okay? Is everything okay? Matt asked, his focus unwavering. She looked up, caught between two sets of emotions, one rooted in her past and the other tethered to her present. I'm figuring some things out. Figuring things out, he mirrored, a mix of concern and curiosity washing over his face. A warring tempest swirled inside her. Can you give me a moment? She stepped away, seeking a quiet corner. She needed space, to contemplate what this all meant. The past echoed around her. Every memory with Matt felt like a strand woven into her heart. They had shared dreams, hopes, fears, the essence of who they were, now tangled with what they might have been. Her heart swelled and sank at once. She took a deep breath, focusing on the dim light streaming through the window. Could she reveal Tom's impact, how he had opened her up again after all this time? Would it hurt Matt more than it should? Returning her gaze to him, she noticed the way his shoulders had slumped, the heartache etched into the lines of his face. He had always been honest and raw, and it struck her that they deserved that kind of clarity now. Matt, she started, her voice cracking. I need you to know that my feelings aren't just wrapped in nostalgia. I've met someone, Tom. He's been there for me. The confession slipped out, the weight of it both relieving and terrifying. He remained silent for a moment, processing her words, and finally sighed. I understand. I hope he makes you happy. You deserve that. The sadness in his eyes cut through her. But you were my first love, she continued, the lump in her throat tightening. You meant everything to me, and part of me will always hold on to that. Matt nodded, absorbing the truth like an undeniable truth. I feel the same way, even if I messed up. But we can't live in the past. It sounds like you're on a new path. They lingered in that space between acknowledgement and goodbye, the walls around them infused with unspoken words. Each corner of the room breathed their history, the air thickening with unfulfilled dreams. Can I ask you something? Matt finally broke the silence, leaning forward, urgency in his voice. Of course, she said softly. What is stopping you from reaching out to him? The question struck her like a lightning bolt. Suddenly, everything she had been feeling compelled her to confront her own heart. Was it the fear of change, the fear of tearing more seams in her already frayed life? I guess I'm scared. What if I ruin the new beginning? Or what if you lose the chance to find out what's next? He countered, the fire in his gaze igniting something within her. A flicker of realization dawned. Was she truly going to let the fear of the unknown hold her back? In that instant, she knew she had to talk to Tom, to dive deeper into this possibility. But could she handle that conversation? With her heart racing, she glanced at Matt. What if I do? A confident smile creased his lips, and the air shifted between them. Then go. Chase what you want, Sarah. His encouragement ignited a spark within her. She wasn't just leaving the past behind, she was stepping into an unfolding future. Still, the weight of their shared history hung heavily, and as she reached for her phone again, uncertainty loomed. Will you be okay if I take this step? She asked, feeling raw and exposed. Matt's response was steady, almost reassuring. I think it's time we both faced our futures. With that, Sarah sent a quick reply to Tom, her heart fluttering. With hesitance but also hope. The journey ahead felt daunting yet exhilarating. Then, just as the corners of her lips tugged upward, a knock sounded at the door, interrupting her thoughts. Sarah? Matt's voice broke through. Who's at the door? And as the door opened, a swirl of possibilities filled the room, bringing with it the potential of unexpected changes. Would this moment lead to the truth she desperately sought or plunge her deeper into uncertainty? The door creaked open, and time seemed to freeze for Sarah. She felt an electric surge reverberate through the air. Her heart skipped. It wasn't just any ordinary knock, it held a weight, a promise or a threat, she couldn't tell which. Standing in the doorway was Tom, looking both familiar and foreign. His smile flickered the way her own heart did, a playful spark that made her want to leap forward and into his arms. Yet, hesitation held her back. Sarah! He exclaimed, his eyes brightening as they settled on her. I just wanted to check on you. Hey, her voice barely broke the weight of the moment, uncertainty wrapping around them like a thick fog. What is going on? You look like you've seen better days, he said gently, genuine concern lacing his voice. She stood there, caught between the past and the flickering light of her present. Behind her, Matt leaned against the wall, arms crossed but eyes wide, intrigued. Everything's complicated, Sarah replied, feeling the lump in her throat again. But I'm glad you're here. Tom stepped inside and closed the door, silencing the world outside. The atmosphere shifted, charged with unspoken words. He took a step toward her, concern pulling him closer. What do you mean? Is something wrong? Before she could answer, Matt broke the tension, standing tall and extending a hand. Matt. Nice to meet you. Tom's brows knitted in confusion mingling with curiosity. You two know each other? We do, Sarah interjected quickly, tension bubbling under her skin. Old friends reconnecting, that's all. Matt's gaze shifted to her, questions shaping behind his eyes. She could feel her heart racing, each beat echoing her need for honesty. Sarah, it's okay if you need to talk, Matt encouraged gently. I can step out. No. She exclaimed, startling herself and them both. I need to be honest, and having both of you here it's what I need. Tom looked at her, a flicker of confusion piercing through his otherwise warm expression. What do you mean? Taking a deep breath, she stepped toward Tom, her heart hammering in her chest. I've been trying to figure out my feelings. I wanted to talk to you about us. Tom's expression softened, yet a shadow lingered. I was worried after your message. I didn't mean to make you worry, I just know, please. Don't take this the wrong way, he cut in. I want to understand. I want you to be happy, whatever that means for you. Matt cleared his throat, aware of the intensity in the room. Can we all sit down? This feels heavy. They moved to the couch, the three of them filling the space with everything unspoken. Sarah's mind raced in frantic loops, her emotions swirling like leaves taken by the wind. She caught a glimpse of her own reflection in a nearby window, anxious and filled with longing. As they settled in, she grappled with her next words. "I've been held back by my fears, you both deserve honesty from me," she began, her voice steadying. "Tom, you've been incredible these past few months. You helped me when I thought I couldn't love again after Matt. And Matt, no matter what went wrong between us, you still hold a piece of my heart." A silence enveloped the room, heavy and thick. Tom ran a hand through his hair, Matt's expression softened to something almost wistful. "Sarah, I just wanted to give you space," Tom finally said, breaking the silence. "But if there is something there, I need to know." Matt studied her, his expression unreadable. "And what if the answer isn't clear? What if you feel pulled in two directions?" Tension hung thick in the air as Sarah felt the weight of their expectations, their futures resting on her shoulders. Could she truly make a decision that honored her feelings for both? "Maybe the answer lies in the choice I make today," she whispered, her thoughts racing toward possibilities. Two choices flashed before her, one leading back to safety and familiarity, the other toward uncertainty and new beginnings. The chasm between them felt insurmountable. "Sarah, we both want what's best for you," Matt urged, his voice woven with sincerity. "But you've got to listen to your heart." She took a shaky breath, a fire igniting within her. The world felt infinite yet constricted. She had to make a choice, and she had to make it soon. As her fingers brushed the phone in her pocket, a thought raced through her mind: what if the next message she sent changed everything? And then a sudden thought struck her like a bolt of lightning: could she find the courage she needed to choose a path that wasn't just about the past or the present but was fearlessly hers? With her heart pounding, Sarah faced them both, her voice thick with emotion. "I'm ready to decide, but it won't be easy." The room fell silent, anticipation heavy in the air. What would she reveal next? And how would that shape not just her life, but theirs? The silence wrapped around them like a blanket, heavy with possibility. Sarah's heart raced, echoing in the quiet room. She glanced from Tom to Matt, two important parts of her life, standing on the edge of change. There was a weight in the air, a shared understanding that this moment was pivotal. Tom shifted forward on the couch, his gaze intense and focused. "What do you feel, Sarah? Right now, what's in your heart?" An unexpected thrill shot through her at his question. It was one thing to ponder her feelings alone, but to voice them out loud felt life-changing. She took a shaky breath, her mind swirling with memories, laughter, and heartache. "I feel lost," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I also feel hope." "Hope?" Matt echoed, his brow furrowed. "In what way?" A flicker of fire ignited within her. "Hope that I can rebuild. Hope that I can choose a future that includes love that's real and true to who I am." Tom's eyes glimmered with unspoken thoughts. "And what does that look like for you?" She glanced at him, feeling the pull of his presence comforting yet complicated. "I don't know yet. I'm still figuring it out. But I know I want my decisions to bring joy, not just to others but to myself." Matt's expression softened, his arms uncrossing as he leaned in slightly. "It's good to want to be happy. Just remember, that happiness doesn't come at the cost of hurting someone else." Sarah nodded, feeling the weight of his words. "I get that. I really do. But I can't keep living for everyone else's feelings. I need to be honest with you both." The atmosphere shifted again, as if the air thinned, leaving room for honesty. Sarah turned to Tom. "I've been afraid to admit how much I care about you. You came into my life when I was sinking, and you pulled me back up with kindness and laughter. Each moment with you has meant so much." Tom's breath caught, and for a moment, she could see his hesitation. "And yet," he murmured. "And yet," she continued, "there's a history with Matt that I can't ignore. Part of my heart is still connected to him, whether I like it or not." Matt exhaled slowly, his gaze firm but understanding. "I never meant to be a weight on your heart," he said gently. We've had our ups and downs, but you deserve to explore what you want. Her heart swelled as she witnessed the understanding between them. She was a bridge between two worlds, and yet all she craved was to feel whole. The moment crackled with energy, each heartbeat echoing the choices ahead. So what happens now? She asked, trepidation creeping back into her thoughts. I guess we navigate it together, Tom said, his tone earnest. Whatever that looks like. Matt nodded. And you don't have to decide right away. Take your time. Just remember, what you choose should be true to you. Such simple words, yet they hit her like a freight train. There was no rush to decide. Maybe the real challenge now was finding out who she was, beyond the heartache, beyond the confusion. A slight smile crept across her face, buoyed by their support. Thank you. I promise to be honest not just with you but with myself. With their eyes fixed on her, Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of clarity. The path ahead was still shrouded in fog, but she could see the first rays of light breaking through. Just then, her phone buzzed in her pocket, a sharply jarring reminder of the outside world. As she pulled it out, anxiety coiled in her stomach. A message flickered on the screen, a name she hadn't expected, and everything inside her shifted. Her heart raced with both dread and intrigue. A message from the past, threatening to unravel everything she had just begun to untangle. Who is it? Tom asked, eyeing her with concern. She hesitated, feeling the weight of their eyes. It's someone I thought I discarded. Her heart pounded, questions flooding her mind. Suddenly, the choice she thought was so clear beckoned with new complexity. What did that message mean for her future? Would it reshape everything she'd just begun to explore? And as she stared at her phone, uncertainty lingered in the room like a live wire, waiting to snap. What lay ahead could change everything once again. Sarah's fingers trembled as she stared at the message lighting up her screen. It flickered in bold letters, a name that felt like an unwelcomed echo from the past. Who is it, Sarah? Tom's voice cut through her whirlwind thoughts, a tender urgency within his tone. Her heart hammered, alive with old anxiety mixed with newfound hope. It's Matt, she finally admitted, the truth slipping out. The air felt thick between them as she glanced up, seeing concern etched on both their faces. Matt? Tom asked, his voice steady yet revealing a crack in his composure. What is he saying? He wants to meet again, she replied, fighting to keep her voice steady. Tears prickled at the corners of her eyes. It was dizzying, standing on the precipice of old love and new truths. Why now? Matt asked, leaning forward slightly, crossing his arms protectively. Do you think you need to talk to him? Do I? A question swirled in her mind, a storm of emotions battling within. She wanted to scream, I don't know. But instead, she took a deep breath and focused on the moment, her heart racing with the possibilities laid bare before her. Maybe I do need to know more, she said slowly, the weight of her words settling heavily around them. Maybe this is my chance to gain complete closure not just for Matt, but also for myself. The room was silent, the implications weaving around them. Tom's brow furrowed. But you're happy here, with us. You just said you cared about me. That was it, wasn't it? She had been shattered, but now she felt like a mosaic. Each piece mattered, held its place, and together formed something beautiful yet still fragile. The thought of potentially unraveling it induced both excitement and fear. I know what I feel with you, Tom, Sarah began, her voice stronger now, but what if I'm still tied to shadows? I can't just ignore my past. Then face it head on, Matt suggested, his tone unexpectedly encouraging. But know this, your choice today shapes your tomorrow. You need to be true to yourself, whatever that means. His words turned the lens of reflection inward, highlighting the journey she had traveled through heartbreak, through discovery. She had built a new life rooted in resilience and community. Would that remain strong even while she confronted the man who molded her past? Maybe I should meet him just to gain clarity, she murmured, her heart beating faster at the thought. To prove I can lay this to rest once and for all. Tom's expression shifted, concern pooling in his gentle gaze. I want you to do what you need, but remember that I'm standing here, too. Whatever you decide should feel right, not just for closure but for the future. A rush of warmth flooded her at his words. He, too, believed in her power to choose. This thought filled her heart with renewed energy. The decision loomed heavy, but now she understood that she didn't have to walk it alone. With a resolute spark in her heart, she took another deep breath. I'll meet Matt, but I'll come back to the people who see me for who I am now. Tom nodded, and the air around them shifted again, charged with a sense of hope. Just know that I will always be here, he said softly, inching closer. No matter what happens, your path doesn't hinge on that meeting. With those words, Sarah felt something shift within. A bitterness began to dissolve, and in its place bloomed the colors of possibility. She recognized that every choice led her closer to who she truly wanted to be. Thank you, she whispered, her gaze locking with Tom's. A moment of acknowledgement passed between them, rich with unspoken promises. Can we go together? Matt spoke up, his voice gentle yet firm. I want to support you, even if it's in a different way now. We all deserve some closure. Sarah met his eyes, realizing something magical. It was not just about the past. Life could be defined by the boldness to embrace change and allow connections to evolve. Yes, she affirmed with newfound confidence. Let us do that. Let us all walk through this together. With a shared breath, the three of them stepped into the sunlight, ready for whatever lay ahead. Together, they ventured forth, a delicate balance of past and present, love and healing, all entwined in a journey that would mark the next chapter of their lives. And as the doors of possibility opened wide, Sarah felt free, for perhaps the first time, encouraged to forge her own story, rich with painful beauty and triumphant hope. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and share your reactions in the comments below. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation.